So we're back with our annual Saturday stream. Um, I don't know too much about. I think the length of this one won't be as short as the other because I don't have the pressing matter that was last Saturday, and that's actually escalated into a bigger issue over the course of this week. Um, I don't really want to get into it because you have a lot of people online who will use their hatred of me as a way to insult and or wish bad things on those who I care about. So I'll just leave it at that. I'll say that this week wasn't that great because one of my relatives have been really sick. So that's just one of the reasons I guess, because my original intention was to put up a DVD video and then also another edited video, but I just couldn't do it because on Thursday I was trying to go up to visit them, and it didn't materialize because of some other issues. Just the scheduling conflicts is what caused that. It's about as much as I'll elaborate on it because again, people on here just they're not human beings. They're demons. They don't care if something affects another person. If they don't like that person, they will wish bad things on people that have done nothing to them. Which you can say about their disdain for me. I've literally done nothing to them other than make a video they didn't like, which I have no control over. So this is the I think third or fourth week of me being more active on Discord as part of a social experiment to see if the site has gotten any better since I, wiped my hands with and washed it away around 2 years ago. Um, I'm trying to think of a good way to explain this. When you have a website, right, that anybody can join, whether it's YouTube, whether it's Twitter, Discord, you always run into this issue of who's actually there to, act like a semi decent person. And a lot of times you really can't tell, and people can just like flip on you like very instantaneously, right? So it hurts your perception, and it also makes you more cynical about the prospect of actually encountering someone that acts normal. And I'm going to give you an example before anybody even leaves a comment. So if you watch this later on, you don't have to wait until 30 minutes in to know what I'm talking about. I had a person on Thursday. Let me also just give you the whole backstory. On Monday, I'm in a VC with several people. One of them is a chick, and I've maintained that I try as hard as I can to speak to as little women as possible, especially online, because there's too much mental illness, multiple personality having BS that goes on along with a lot of them. It's not all of them, but it's enough. So this person, I talked to them on Monday. We have a pleasant dialogue along with one or two other people that are in this chat, and they send me a friend request, and my mentality is I'm not going to accept it because there are a lot of people who go in a server and they like say something and then they vanish forever. So I just figured I can ignore this person's request and just kind of like keep it moving, just keep trucking. So she messages this guy that is on my friends list and tells me, I sent him a friend request. He acts like he's blind, in like a joking type of manner. But it's like also, hey, I really want him to accept this friend request. So against my better judgment, I accepted. And we have what appears to be 2 or 3 days worth of just, like casual messages like, hey, how are you? What's up? Just they seem to be a pleasant person, right? And I always figured that if someone's not doing any kind of like romantic stuff, it's you're less likely to see the insanity from them materialize. That if you don't have and go out of your way to not try to have any kind of romantic stuff with someone that happens to be a female, you'll likely not run into any of the issues that come with that stuff of them flipping their minds out of nowhere, mixed signals, all the rest of that. So um I noticed like this person starts asking some questions about this game, and I'm like being evasive because I can. It's just I see it just as the same kind of old banter. And then out of nowhere, she sends me this picture of this guy that's also on my friends list. And it's like, oh well, me and him have been having such fun together playing, and I only talk to him. And I don't respond to it because I'm just whatever. And then she deletes it. And then the last thing I ask her after it's like, how are you doing? This same old pleasant stuff is, uh, are you going to go to sleep soon? Which I've asked before, just because people live in different time zones or all over the world. You don't know if someone will be available in like an hour. So, just for that reason. Um, I don't get a response to this message. And I think I saw that I was, because we're in the same server, so I was able to see that she was online. So I was going to write something else. And then I can't send anything. And I'm like, oh my God, this person unfriended and blocked me. So I want you so like again, not many people have shown up, whatever, but I want you to really think about this. We have an individual who in the span of 4 days goes from sending me a friend request, right? And then being so what's the way of saying it? Concerned that I accept the friend request that she messages someone that she knows I speak to with more regularity to get me to accept it. To then again the span of 4 days, all the way up until the day in which this happens, speaking in like a pleasant, nice manner, just out of nowhere blocks me. And people really sit here and actually, you know, act as if there's not something wrong with chicks. And I was thinking about doing a video. It wouldn't just be about that one person because that was just like a little several day, crap. There have been other weird things on there as well. Um, but going back to the video we did on the lady that had the explicit conversation with me roughly over 2 weeks ago, I abstained from even thinking about doing an edited video talking about this because if I can have people still try to pretend it's my fault that something went the way it did when they have a recording of like literally hear this person's voice when she's saying all of this explicit stuff to me, I know that if I show screenshots of this lady acting, like a decent person for 4 days straight, and then out of nowhere blocking and unfriending me, I'll still get blamed for that too. So I just, all right, well, you can just take my word for it. The people that are going to believe me are going to believe me. The people who aren't going to believe me aren't going to believe me. So we reached a stalemate. What I thought was funny is I actually messaged the guy that she was speaking to, and I said, hey, just be careful. She likes to do this apparently. And he said something back, and I was like, you can talk to whoever you want, because I'm not trying to like I'm not attempting to convince him not to speak to her. I'm not. I like to let relationships destroy themselves. I don't really see my intervention as being necessary in most instances. But then he wrote some kind of like prick, smarty pants comment about, oh, thanks, Dad. I'm so happy. We're so happy that you approve of us. And I was like, yeah, goodbye. And I unfriended him. So, it's just people on that website, nice one day, completely insane the next. Speaking of insane, we have Envoy. Look, I don't even want to talk to you. Just we're gonna make this very clear because I went on Google and typed in your username and I found your list of top 100 YouTubers and I was nowhere in there. So now I know how you actually feel about me and my channel. So you can hit the bricks. You can go. You can travel somewhere else to one of the channels that was on your top 100 list. And we'll be making a video about you called Envoy Caught in 4K. Why would the guy be condescending like that? Well, again, this goes back to the thing of like the mental illness. Like I said, I expect random trolls online to say nasty things to me, to act crazy. I don't expect for two people who sent me friend requests several days ago, right? Like initiated stuff with me to act like this. So when I read his weird little message, I was like, yeah, I'm good. I want to wash my hands of these people because they're not doing anything productive. So I was really amused by the like I was annoyed when that happened on Thursday, but I mean, it's not too surprising because we're used to people on that website acting like they have 800 personalities. We're used to them all being Blitzwing. He might as well be. I could see Aaron Eckhart playing him in a movie. Exactly. That's the odd thing. They sent a friend request. They reached out to you. Yeah. And I normally don't even like accepting those damn things because the way it works is 9 times out of 10, if someone sends me one, not if I send them one, we almost never speak. Or like you keep trying to, again, in spite of the fact that you keep trying to reach out to them, how you doing, whatever. So you just get sick of it. But even if I did unfriend somebody, I wouldn't unless they usually to get me to like expedite wanting to do that, they have to piss me off. Um, for me to block them because that was the like thing that was how you knew something was wrong with her. You have this person that you've been talking to every day since you sent them a friend request, and then after you decide you don't want to talk to them anymore, you like out of nowhere, right? You unfriend and block them so they can't say anything back. I thought somebody sent me a message. I was getting all excited. Gumi says, "Hey, Justin in the chat. Hope you are all well during this saga that is the plethora of insane people online. I'm actually not all well. I have one of my closest relatives, um, one of the 8 central figures of my life, most influential people, period, in some very serious health trouble. But like I said, I want to elaborate on it because I know that there are people online who are so evil and have no, type of human decency that they would try to use that to hurt my feelings. So it is what it is. People on this website have no sympathy for anything. Yeah, and it happened right after when I did the stream on Saturday. The reason that was half the length of a usual stream is because I went to go see him, and then he got injured. So it is what it is. I really hope my least favorite user doesn't show up during this thing. Yeah, right after it was like 2 or 3 hours later. You won't see the same interruption today because of COVID restrictions. Only one person can see him in the hospital, so I can't go with someone else, or else I have to. You get the idea that you have to sit outside for however long that person stays in there. So if I do go, it'll probably be tomorrow or later today, but probably tomorrow because there's some stuff I'm trying to do today. No wonder folks walk around anxious half the time. You never know what interaction you may have with someone you deem a friend. Oh, I didn't even get to bring up the guy that called me a friend on what was that, Friday of last week, and then because I wanted to VC with him, unfriended me on Monday. I was like, I see how a friend is rewarded. And here's the plot twist. Not even an hour later, sent me another friend request. So that's 2 people in less than 1 week, because one was on Monday, one was on Thursday, that well, like literally both of them have the commonality of being the one who sent me the friend request. And then like they both unfriend you. And in the case of the first one that was on Monday, he reneged and was like, "Oh, I had this thing happen." So hey, they changed their minds like I changed shirts. Yeah, code restrictions make visits all the more frustrating and difficult to arrange. Because unless we're going to play musical chairs going back and forth, I'm good. Because if I go, I mess up somebody else's time to see him. So I just have to do it in a singular capacity afterward or after the fact. Oh, here we go with this guy again. Hey, listen, I'm gonna give you a fair warning because I really am not a fan of just you know Thanos snapping people. Your time of like coming on here and writing antagonistic stuff is over. So I'm gonna let you write 3 comments, and if I think any one of them is like overly antagonistic, because I'm not in the mood for that. Okay, Envoy says, yeah, that's BS. If anything, all the guy had to say was, I don't feel comfortable doing VC. That's it. I told you, you can never take people on here seriously. They change so quickly. But again, this stuff is not really that new. I mean, I remember we talked about the one chick from what was that 2017 that was like asking me all the personal questions, and then like after her last comment was, "Oh, I can't wait for you to hear my voice." The next one was, "Well, I don't think this will work out for many reasons. Goodbye forever." They just switch on you real quick. That's crazy. I asked a legit question, and you're about to get a legit block too. Let me type my question. That's good. That's gonna be you. We already know the reason you asked that question anyway. It's because you're trying to be antagonistic. How does the conversation usually go? I literally just described what was last said before getting unfriended and blocked by this person, and you gonna ask me that, and then try to pretend you're just this innocent little angel that came on the stream, and then when you ask a legitimate question, mean old Justin tried to get rid of you. So if you don't like the way you're being treated, there's plenty of other channels to watch. We will not miss you. We will not shed a tear. We'll just wave like this. But Gumi says too many people online are like really don't like people like that. They change their minds in such a small amount of time on a whim. I just think it's funny. Like I'm gonna unfriend somebody and then not even half an hour later, hey, come on back. If that doesn't tell you how quickly people change their minds and like why you shouldn't ever take them seriously, I don't know what will. You should know all these conversations go because he gives examples on every video. Yeah, but see, this goes back to like the overly antagonistic thing. No matter how much evidence you show these people, no matter how much proof you have, because they want to make it your fault as far as the eye can see, they will completely sidestep it, even to ask questions to things you already answered. And then when they get blocked, my free speech. Somebody save me, I'm being censored. Always says, yeah, Megumi, it's odd. It goes back. It goes to back Justin's phone call with that broad recently. 1 minute they're hot, then they're cold. And again, no one has been able to articulate why, after having someone act that way, after saying the type of stuff she said, you should believe what any woman ever says again. No one out of all those 2, 3, 4 comments that were like, pseudo antagonistic, still won't give any reason, any rationale to take these people seriously. Just smile and wave, boy, smile and wave. I joined the live late and asked a question. How are you guys jumping to so many conclusions? Yeah, we've never seen Dudley before. We have no way of knowing how he likes to act. He just came to the live late and asked a question, and then you guys jumped on so many conclusions. Like, sir, we know you're antagonistic. We know you like to pick fights. We know you like to accuse me of stuff. I'll never forget. This was the stream where the guy, I was talking about the one that stole my video and was like pretending to be me, the YouTube chameleon. And I literally say, stole my video, took my video, re-uploaded on his channel, pretended to be me. I got Dudley asking, was it a reaction video? If it's a goddamn reaction video, you can see the person in it reacting to your video. But again, when he gets yanked, I'm just the innocent guy. I didn't see anything antagonistic or against him. I don't know what happened. I actually have an update with that chick who wanted to have a. Oh, let's hear this. Can't wait to see what new chapter came out of this insanity. Which is why it can be difficult talking to people you honestly don't know if they walked up on if they walked up. Okay, okay. If they woke up on the wrong side of the bed, they'll friend request you 1 minute and then ghost you the next. Man, Dudley acts like we don't have screenshots of every ridiculous thing he's ever typed on my channel. But see, that's the beauty of having never blocked you, because now we can prove that you write these like antagonistic comments, and then when you get confronted over it, you try to like backtrack or say, oh, we misthought or misspoke or there was some kind of manipulation. So look, I'm gonna grab, even if we do get rid of you in this stream, and we probably will, because like I said, you had your time to write weird things to me. That's over. We're gonna go on that stream. I'm gonna go on there while they write stuff in the chat. I'm gonna find where you said, was it a reaction video? After I described that this guy stole my stuff. And then we can go from there. Oh, what's he writing now? You're hilarious. Hey, this block will be real hilarious too. I'll be smiling and giggling. I really don't understand, with all seriousness, why you continue to watch someone that supposedly jumps to conclusions and makes you feel so uncomfortable. Okay, I got the comment. It was, why did they re-upload? Was it like a reaction video? And you said this, how many minutes into the stream? 40? I didn't even expect to find it that quick, because I know that you like to do your little drive-by type, and you leave one little weird comment, then you zoom away like Flash or Speed Racer. What's the other movie series? Fast and Furious? Let's see where this insane thing was written. That's a legit question, though. No, it's not. If you really think I would say someone stole my video if they did a reaction video, which they've done to plenty of people much larger than me. And like I said, if someone like, let's say, James or Megumi or even Envoy had written that, I probably wouldn't be as remembering of that, because they don't have the same history of coming on my stream and typing some antagonistic crap and then trying to play victim afterward. Yeah, people do it often. Hey, don't worry. You can keep it going if you'd like. We're just not going to argue about it for the next, what is it, hour and a half? Let me read what Megumi said. I asked about me. She said I am all right, but she also said she isn't attracted to me like that. I've heard that before. I certainly was very attracted to her back when she wanted to do sexual stuff with me. There they go, changing their minds again. She sure sounded attractive to you when she said, "Oh, I want this type of relationship with you." So we see some more backtracking and reneging and plot twist and red herring. I mean, I just gave that as an example, but it's cool if he wants to pretend he didn't say that. We have the screenshot. You're actually not the first person that did that. We had another guy who came on my stream like crying about my attire, because apparently the way I dress is like such a heavy thing for other men, with their homoerotic subtext. And I was like, look, if you don't like what I wear or what I'm saying, go, leave. And then this crazy prick comes to my next 3 streams. And on his last appearance, which was 5 minutes on a little cameo he made, he was like, I didn't say that. Someone said that? Oh my God. And I was like, I could tolerate the weird questions and the antagonistic stuff that was being written. But when you actually literally try to retcon real life, like we're not playing that. Just admit to what you did. Because remember, everything that has been said on one of my streams, unless you've been banned before, which nobody in this chat has, are still there. I don't delete anything. I mean, this is really insane. People over here retcon in real life. That's why we need to make that romantic rejection comic book video. They really act like they're this is like the real life crisis on Infinite Earths. Oh, this thing I said 3 months ago, disregard that happened. It's a fresh start. It's like, no, it's you still said this. Like I can't go outside and chop down my neighbor's tree and then 2 weeks later say, oh, we can pretend that didn't happen. Let's just put a new tree there and act like that never occurred. Like, no, you did that. Now she was saying she doesn't consider us even potential partners. A week earlier, she was saying how she feels so connected and that we are so compatible. Change their minds like I change shirts. Okay. Envoy says, wow, Megumi, she said that. See what I mean? It's like they dangle this carrot in front of you and then yank it. And then people are actually surprised that like men are sick of it. That's why I find most pathetic that they act like you're not supposed to get upset over that type of stuff. Because remember, I mentioned that they want it both ways, where they want chicks to be able to reject you, like no matter what they said previously to convince or coerce you into thinking they liked you, and they also want to control how you respond to what they do. So they can have total free reign to do whatever they want, and then you're supposed to like selectively be able to, you know what I'm saying? It's really insane to me. Oh my God, this man is talking disparagingly about women. He's an I word. It's like, but he's making valid points about ridiculous. Like I was talking to a lady last night who admitted that the stuff that like I talked about the broad that agreed to marry me and then reneged after less than a week, the one that back in May asked me on a date and then it still somehow rejected me, and she admitted that they acted insane. So like everybody knows there's something wrong with chicks. They can come on here and pretend like, oh, you're wrong for, but everyone knows this. She still wanted to do sexual stuff with me, but no romantic stuff at all. We were planning. Hold on, getting called by somebody. Okay, let's get back to let's reconvene this terror show. Um, she still wanted to do sexual stuff with me, but no romantic stuff at all. We were planning how we were going. We were going somewhere in entering a proper relationship. She changed her mind so quickly after meeting some guy she finds really hot to her. The following day, she kept trying to get in contact with me, even when I tried blocking her as well. You know what's like really funny about that? The broad that agreed to marry me and then reneged. I wish I still had these screenshots. It, like over the course of 2 days, I started ignoring her after she pissed me off. She tried to contact me 5 times on like 3 different websites. Like she sent me a comment on YouTube. She sent me like 2 Skype messages. I think she sent me some. What's that stupid website that Google got rid of? Google Hangouts, like 2 on there. So I said that look, that's how insane they are. They want to deny you what you want, but then they don't want to face the consequences of it. Envoy says, well, Megumi, if all it takes is her meeting some guy she finds hot to change her mind on being in a relationship with you, she really didn't have that deep of a connection. Yeah, they never do. They just say a bunch of stuff to gas you up, and then they throw you away like that. I mean, hey, you saw what happened with the broad in the video. And again, I will maintain out of all the chicks I have ever spoken to, I can count on one hand how many talk to me that way. So if a woman who says you can come to her country and do all kind of dirty stuff to her still won't continuously reciprocate or will like change her mind very quickly, no reason to take them seriously anymore. Every time they speak, it's like I'm watching an SNL skit. I can really picture they have like a guy wearing a wig. He's like, "Today I'm gonna pretend to like you. Tomorrow I'm gonna hate you." What did Brandon say? She never liked you. Yeah, they're just tricksters. And it's sad too, because when you have to deal with this stuff year after year, and you get what appears to be like the slightest reciprocation, you get all excited. You think, "Oh my God, the curse is finally subsiding," and then nope, the status quo remains in place. I even had someone I was talking to who I don't want to mention this because I don't want to upset them. Let's just say someone mentioned that they have like a thing where they date all these guys that they're friends with like at different point, not consecutively, but at different points. And I was like, "Oh, you don't have to worry about that with me. I know that if you ever did claim you were interested and like were actually serious about it, the curse would come into effect." But I don't believe anything they say anymore, as far as like as it relates to me, just whatever. Too many lies have been told. Okay, Megumi writes the most insane thing about it all is that she considers that guy a potential partner when she hasn't spoken to him. She even knows he is a player, but I am not a potential partner. Like, damn, okay, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, it's the Twilight Zone. I mean, look, I'm not trying to sit here and like repeat catchphrases and all the rest of that because this I can understand where this upsets you, but you understand that they do this. They lead you on, give you all little signals, make you think, "Oh man, this person might actually like me back," and then whether it's in a week, a month, they renege. Do we have to bring up the broad that I kept scheduling to have phone calls with, like that were specifically to meet her schedule, and then every time the time would come for us to speak, she would be like, "Oh, I'm so busy," and that happened 6 times to where she just stopped scheduling them all together and then just like slowly stopped responding to me. Again, they're psychopaths. They do stuff to make somebody think they like them, and then after a while they get rid of you. Oh, you saw that this week. Not even like just from what I recounted earlier in this stream. That's another new example of that, and that wasn't even romantic. So they just have some kind of personality disorder. Told you like it's not even just because I swear and I am very serious when I say this, out of every single person I have ever spoken to multiple times with online, the most or in real life, the most amount of times they'll cancel having a call with me is maybe like twice. They might something comes up the second time. Okay, I'm serious about this third time. This woman scheduled to have calls that were meant to meet her schedule. Like she schedules this stuff seemingly with the understanding that this is one of the few times where she'll be available or one of the times she'll be available, and then doesn't meet her own call that she scheduled to cater to her. Again, and she did this 6 times. But people really sit here and defend chicks. Well, maybe if you would go away, just leave. Yeah, no, yeah. To quote Envoy, nutty bastard. That's not the last one that acted that way. Yeah, that's just crazy. I can't even fathom just how many chicks are like that. Well, I mean, at least that one did something distinct. Out of all the people I've ever spoken to in real life and online, no one has ever canceled a call with me that many times back to back. The highest was 2. She broke the record. She has the dubious honor of being the person who canceled the most calls on top of each other. Like that stupid thing went on for almost 2 weeks. And I'm like, it's a phone call. whatever. I'm tired of these people. But she's such a celebrity that I'm supposed to like. I'm going to get accused of being insensitive to her, even though I literally the whole point of scheduling stuff with these clowns is because you understand they have other things in their lives besides yourself. But whatever, hey, they smeared me already, so one more lie won't hurt. You try and be as accommodating to their schedule, and yet they still pull BS. Well, that's why the one that got recorded got unfriended after 5 days because I asked her multiple times, "When can you VC?" Oh, soon, but not now. Oh, and again, I've had them do that kind of stuff to me before. That's why I said in the video, I don't want a repeat of 2017. I don't want to talk to some bimbo for 3 months just on the premise that she'll eventually do the thing I asked for. You see, you'll never get a chick really being that considerate to you. No, it's always you bending over and accommodating them. You know, so I said I'm just for the and if I do the next edited romance video after the romantic rejection comic book one is going to be me just like a drawing of me just on a cross because that's all you do when you try to talk to chicks. You get blamed for all the stuff, all the decisions they make, for everything that goes wrong. It's just it's really unappealing. Dude, they wouldn't know considerate if it bit them in the behind. I told you I'm really tempted to make a video on because that guy's comment wasn't the only stupid one that was left on the video, the one that everybody responded to. Yeah, good old drive-by typing. So it's always somebody you've never seen before that doesn't support your channel that writes something weird. And then they're surprised when they make no impact or difference. I sincerely hope you find yourself a nice lady one day. It'll serve you better to not expect so much from anyone. I mean, like, do you have the faintest idea how much that pisses me off? My expectation for that person, along with any other woman I speak to, is entirely rooted in what they tell me that they're willing to do or are interested in doing. If that dingbat didn't say, "Oh, you can come to my country and expletive," I wouldn't have thought to do that at all, or at the expectation that that was something she wanted to schedule having happened or having happened rather. So I'm expecting too much when I take somebody at their word. If they have a triangle, that is. I think what I'm probably gonna do is I'll screenshot that comment along with the stuff that was written under it, and then I'll just get rid of the whole thing and the person as well because they're useless. That comment's not. These people they love doing that. They write these antagonistic, stupid, overlong comments that don't really say anything other than like weird platitudes, and then because they know that their opinion is worthless, they can't even defend it when people speak to them in a rational, calm way. We've been waiting for that prick to respond to what you guys were asking for a whole week. No comment back. Megumi and Justin, what's the most annoying thing is they'll say you can't get mad at certain behaviors they do, but if reversed, they can get mad. The double standard is ridiculous sometimes. Yep. They have no just no consistency. If my brother, just an example, was talking to some girl and she kept asking him, "Hey, can we have a call?" And then he's like, "Oh, eventually I will," but then he doesn't specify, and this goes on for several days. We can say, "Hey, look, you're not Superman. You're not saving the world. Either tell this person you don't want to talk to them again, or give them a specific time that you can speak to them. Like, just stop wasting people's time." Like, I don't have these like weird double standards. It's just douchebag behavior that one side gets away with because they have the plot armor triangle that lets them not have to face any accountability for stuff that if I did I would get criticized for doing. It's like I get criticized for doing a video that hurts nobody. You think I wouldn't get criticized for wasting somebody's time multiple times over at that? The chick I was with lately has some combative behavior toward me. I'd get called sensitive or childish by her when she insulted me many times during our conversation. But if I insult her, she'll be very quick to get upset or mad with me. LOL. Yeah, they can say whatever they want to you, but if you say something to them, oh my God, how could you? What a sick misogynist man you have to be. We had the same thing happen. There's a lady on Discord who called me the B word like multiple, and I explained to her, if I called you that, you would be upset. I would have people in this server trying to do like the white knight. Oh my God, how could you do this to this young lady? Blah 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 thing. So it just goes back to the double standard stuff. They talk to you any kind of way they want, but if you and no one calls them evil or says this is messed up, mistreating this person, but if you do it to them, here comes the mob with the pitchforks. She shouldn't talk to me like that. It's crazy how some of them can show more respect to their friends than their partners. I don't even want you, man. If we sit here and talk about more respect for friends than partners, and I actually use real life examples, we could have a 3 hour stream. Hell, I was considering getting one of my relatives to actually do a stream with me where we just talk about how insane chicks are, and that this is someone who has kids and or rather a kid, and then also has like had like he is has no issue getting someone to like him back. So even he, as someone who isn't affected by the curse, is still able to say, yeah, there's something wrong with chicks. But the problem is, if he comes on here, the stream's gonna get demonetized because he'll be cursing and all that. Yeah, you shouldn't stand for any insults for me. That's a red flag. It just shows a lack of decency. If a woman wouldn't talk to her dad or uncle or even best friend like that, they wouldn't even talk to their mailman like that. There's a mailman. How you doing, Emagumi? They just treat the people that they claim to like garbage. That's why the bimbo in the video couldn't even give me a phone call. Couldn't even give me a scheduling of a phone call. Like not even the call itself. Just yeah, I can talk in like maybe 3 days or 2 days on this day. Couldn't even do that. Like they're useless. No, I really am worried if I do them with him. I think it would get demonetized very quickly because he doesn't have the same I don't want to say experience of like toning himself down for a stream. He had some issues with this one lady about I think 2 or 3 weeks ago, like late September. So and everybody knows something's wrong with them. That would be very cool to hear his views on a stream. Yeah, I'll ask him. No, I've been trying to get my best friend to be on one again because I do like the thing of a contemporary of mine that I've known for a long time who just by happenstance was affected by the same issue. Um, you know, because it goes back to this idea of people always try to shame a man over being single or not wanting to be or whatever. But then it's like why if it's such a horrible bad thing that we should be embarrassed about, why do you have so many men who have had the same experience? Why are there plenty of guys who have a girlfriend that actually will stay with her just because they're afraid they'll end up with no one ever again? Told you, I've seen men put up with a lot of ridiculous stuff just to have a partner. Hell, I like you. You think if getting a date was so easy, I would actually feasibly consider going to another country just to go on one? You get how insane that is? That like there's no chick in all of your in the out of the what is it 300 and however many million people that live in your country that is like willing to actually do something with you. So you have to travel to another island to get to get again the slightest bit of romantic attention from someone of the opposite sex. And people really don't think there's something wrong with that. Or if they do, they blame you. Well, maybe if you had gone around the entire United States waving around a flag saying, hey, somebody going to date. Yeah. So you always have to bear the burden. Yeah, that's why I got rid of her. I already was not confident with her wanting to be in a poly. I would never do that. I don't care how desperate I was. Because I told you, I know how they are. They like doing this little flirtatious BS. And then, you think, oh my God, this is progressing. Yay, she accepted me. And then, oh, wait, she's also dating two, three, four other people at the same. Oh, okay. Well, trick me. How insane would I look? If I went up to some lady, some woman, right? Whether it's in real life or on the internet, and I went, "Hey, I like you, so can we be in a relationship where I can also be in a relationship with multiple other women?" Like who would hear that and think, "Oh yeah, he really likes her. That's why he has to date multiple other people at the same time." Yeah, it sounds messy, Megumi. I wouldn't want a partner who I depend on to just turn around and be spending time with another person, especially if she has responsibilities towards me. Yeah, you're right, Justin. It's literally a joke. Yeah, because relationships are supposed to be about your commitment to a person that you're in one with. And it's like completely antithetical to shove these other character like it's not those that term and what it's supposed to mean. And then poly relationships are like they're antithetical. Just like with marriage, it's supposed to be your union between you and somebody else. And then it's like you have people who actually illegally marry multiple people. It's like, yeah, this is a joke. I thought the window was closed for a moment. I'll be surprised if you would be able to pull that off. No, I couldn't do it. I would get if I actually tried to make an approach like that, I would get laughed at so quickly. I would be called disgusting by some people. Like no one would look at that request of mine, and it would actually be used to retroactively paint me as like a demon or a devil because they'd be like, well, the reason he couldn't get a girlfriend is because he wanted to have some kind of weird multiple partner thing. You know, they used to retroactively make you worse than you actually are. So I already know there's nothing to be gained from attempting to do that. Like I said, I'm not even I don't even believe in chicks anyway. What if you were a millionaire? Yeah, they would still say, "Oh, he's just a womanizer. You're trying to use your coins to coerce them into misogynist era relationships that don't actually care about them as a person, but as a piece of they'll find whatever narrative they can to spin. I've seen them do it to other people before. I'd be no exception. Why do you think we had the crazy bimbo who, despite me never saying anything about this, accuses me of wanting a date to get sex, even though I've never said that that was anything of my intent? Talking about vibes, it's like they'll do whatever they can to make you the person who, like I said, might as well be the new Jesus Christ. You just get blamed for everything. You have to bear the burden for the sins of women. Well, at that point, Brandon, you might as not get married and just date women casually. I probably wouldn't even do that. I can't see a scenario where I have a whole bunch more money and then I suddenly still want to talk to chicks. I would just dislike them even more. The only way a woman could stand out at that point is if she was even richer. Like then you wouldn't have the gold digger allegation to throw out, which works a lot of time, unfortunately. Oh dear, not that user. She was, dude. She commented on my stream on Saturday. Was like, "Oh, I missed your stream." I was like, "Good." I thought she was gone. Hey, but you know what? I was like, I hope she shows up. Can't wait till she shows up. I can't wait until she thinks a month passed and we forgot. She's gonna be the first one banned in the new era, live on stream. But I want to date casually, just keep getting rejected. Yeah, maybe that would work if you both were rich, if you could somehow hide your money to see if the love is genuine. Told you, all that stuff about go to the gym, becoming all of it is just superficial crap. You will never see anybody tell a woman, "Oh, if you want a boyfriend, you know you gotta go to the gym, right? You have to become wealthy, right?" Never. They can be dirt poor. They can be 3,000 miles away from a gym, and nobody will ever complain or tell them that that stops them from ever finding someone that likes them back. That's why it's so condescending to have chicks actually say you should keep trying to talk to them. It's like you don't know what it's like to sit there year after year and have something like dangled in front of your face and then just yanked away. You know, it's just they don't get it, and that's why when they talk about it, I just start rolling my eyes most of the time. You know, people who try to encourage you to keep doing this destructive act never had to do it themselves because they weren't rejected over and over, and some of them not at all. They didn't wonder if someone would ever like them back for who they were, or how many years it would take for someone to go on a date with them. It never occurred. But they want to sit there and tell you that you're supposed to keep putting up with that. How you doing, banana? Oh, I forgot to do this because you weren't here for the stream on last Saturday. They read what Envoy wrote. While I do think self improvement is good, the unrealistic standards are just ridiculous. You have to be in the top 5% of men to date an average broad. So I got to be a 9 out of 10 to date a 5 or a 6. That's still giving them too much credit. That's like a 3 or a 4. Because remember, physical attractiveness is subjective. So if you have someone who you think looks really nice, but she lives in a trash can, understand that if you were in her situation, nobody would, no matter how good you looked, would say you were anything above maybe a 3. And even that would be generous. So that's why I don't really believe in this stuff. There's too many requirements imposed on a man to like boost his supposed attractiveness. And then the woman doesn't have to do anything except exist. So okay, Megumi says, "Oh yeah, I saw that comment too when I was going to post my comment on that video." Yeah, hey, if she shows up, we know what's going down. Remember, if I'm someone who just wants sex, why are you watching my stuff? Wouldn't you want to go watch a man who believes in getting to know a woman for who she is? So I hope she doesn't appear again. Yep, what happened on Saturday? I mentioned that earlier. Yeah, my bad. You got to be a 9 to date a 3. Oh, shiny name, appreciated for my status. I told you having these like back and forths with these trolls, it's over. They have done this stuff for years, and they've never been able to convince me to keep like doing any of this or change anything. They're just wasting their time. And unfortunately, when they come on a video or a stream and write some enormous series of comments, they're wasting everybody else's time too. So I don't need to have something I do for fun screwed over by like weird people online. I'm good. So if they come and write weird stuff, I'll see maybe 1, 2 comments, and like I don't care anymore. I tried to have a conversation with these people, and every time you do, they either start backpedaling and say they agree just so they can start up again, like that Tony that rat did, or they try to like have some never-ending back and forth, like with World Without Heroes 2, where you have this guy sit here and argue back and forth about the merits of if you are content with not dating a woman, like just go away. And calling somebody a mediocre man, and you ain't never heard of this bastard a day in his life because he's completely useless, a total waste of sperm, and he's gonna sit here and call somebody else mediocre. It's like who the hell elected him to evaluate anybody's importance? Because if I called somebody that, it sure as hell wouldn't be because they didn't have a date. That's stupid. They start moonwalking backwards. Yeah, that's what that Tony person did. And I really thought when we did that stream with his crazy behind that, okay, now this person is no longer going to act this way. Something productive took place. This douchebag came around with a new name, trolling again. And then because he's another one of these like useless people that never leave, like, oh my God, I hate the romance stuff. That's why all of my comments are on the romance stuff. Because he did that, we knew it was him. So, nice try. We still spotted you. It's quite comical considering these people are no one special themselves. I told you that like loser, mediocre man, all the rest of that garbage, it gets said on every other website. But the big difference between YouTube and most of these other websites is that when someone writes that type of thing to me, since I don't really comment that much on people's videos, or if I do, I don't like have my replies enabled to see what people write back. It's almost always after they've taken the time to come to my channel, right? And write something to get my attention. Which is what makes it ironic that like if I'm supposed to be the nobody, why are you going out of your way to contact me? Like you're making me out to be the star, coming to my streams and analyzing my body and all this other. I mean, people do that to celebrities are like, ooh, look what she has on. They don't. You're doing that to a guy online that did a video you didn't like. Okay, let me read what I also don't see how it's productive to have a back and forth debate constantly with people like that. Yeah, that's why I'm done. That's what the new era is supposed to symbolize. That like my time is no longer something that can be wasted with these type of people. Because a lot of times you come online, people like to talk about like how you have to appeal to people on YouTube and entertain them, but they never think about the entertainment of the content creator. Like, are you happy when you do a stream and then somebody writes weird stuff on there and then you don't want to get rid of them because you'll be accused of censorship and all this other trash? Even though we've had plenty of disagreements on my channel without people getting yanked. I can give multiple examples of that, by the way, if you don't believe me. But whatever. I don't need to just because it's like they would have a problem with you anyway. Like I got told that on that World Without Heroes 2 stream that I was running a dictatorship because I banned a person who was allowed for over an hour to talk trash about me, and so I just got sick of it because that's what they do in dictatorships, right? They let you like run your mouth to them, I guess at the palace or wherever else they're staying for over an hour with no consequence. And so they just get sick of it and they're like, all right, just leave me alone, go away. And it's like, imagine how important I have to be, right, for you to compare my one channel out of the millions on this website to a country, like to a region. That's how important my channel is to you. That not being able to speak on it is like being denied access to another country. That should tell you how like if you're so insignificant, why would they care about getting yanked? Extremely ironic indeed, but they don't take that into consideration. Yeah, because again, when you're on YouTube, you're supposed to be people's slave. You're supposed to just put up with everything and anything that somebody writes to you. Like you're supposed to be the woman's slave and the YouTube slave. They're supposed to go hand in hand, just telling you what you can do. You're supposed to cater to them entirely. To hell with you want. To hell with your dreams. This is why I say social media really does breed psychopaths. You have to be psychotic to claim you don't like something and continue engaging with it. And there are a lot of people, most people who watch stuff, it's been proven, don't leave comments. So it's like you took the time to watch something and go an extra step beyond what a normal person would do, which is leave a comment. And then you're leaving a comment to someone you don't even like. I've seen plenty of videos by people I don't like. And I almost never leave comments because I don't want to give it any more attention I already did. And usually, if I see one of their videos, it's by mistake. Like I have autoplay on YouTube and it turns that person on, instantly turn it off. So it's very easy. And it's like the channels I avoid are way bigger than me. But whatever. Like, they can play whatever game they want. They can pretend that my when they log on YouTube, my video just crashes into their screen, and then when they try to turn the video off, it like auto forces them to watch, and they get strapped to their computer and they have to view it. If you see how angry they get, you would really think someone like I forced them to watch my stuff. It's really insane. It's the definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. Oh, they accused me of that too. I was like, well, I tried approaching chicks, it didn't work. I tried not talking to them, it didn't work. So it just seems like a waste of time. But keep trying, even though we know we're going to blame you no matter what happens because we're antagonistic bastards who never want to criticize the woman no matter what. Keep trying. That's really sad. Oh, Euro Dollar made his grand appearance. I wonder if it's going to be a cameo where he's like, "Hi, I'm in this stream," and he just vanishes. What game was it? There was some game that came out like 10 or so years ago, and it has a character that there's a character that is like heavily marketed for being in the game, and they are. But then in like the story mode, they show up all the way at the end of it. I'm trying to remember what game that. Oh, Smash Brothers Brawl with Sonic, where all the trailers had him in it, and then it in the story mode he literally shows up in like the second to last fight or something like that. You paid $50 to see me. Here I am. That's what Euro Dollar is. He has his little cameo all the way at the end of it. He's like, "Hi." I'm trying to think of any other insane stuff happened this week with these online people because I wasn't even like a big part of Thursday. Here we go again. I don't know what's wrong with these people. But anyways, a big part of Thursday was like not even on the internet until the later hours. Ah, yes, you're correct. Sonic shows up right when you're about to face Tubu, which is the final boss. Yeah, because I haven't played that game since I was a kid. But I remember like people complaining about the story mode of that, and just for a character that was like really marketed for him to show up all the way at the end of the story mode for a glorified cameo. Hey, we'll see if he's just drive-by type and he writes anything else weird. It was good plot armor. No, I remember that was a really big thing because that was like part of Sega accepting that they're no longer a competitor to Nintendo. They just are going to focus on games. It just seemed really insane that this like big mascot, one of the most recognizable video game characters ever, and you get him in your game, and then Stick him all the way there, all the way right when you're about to face the final boss. Yeah, I remember that. That was pretty amusing. First time playing through it since Sonic was even highly requested in Smash Bros. Yeah, I remember they wanted him in that, and then it was what was oh I remember with Mewtwo they wanted him in Brawl, and then he wasn't in that game, and like people were upset about that because I remember for Melee you had to keep the game on for like 20 something hours, and then you still had to fight him to get. It was good plot armor. I mean, hey, that's what they act like they have. If you see how like how desperate people are to just never criticize them, you would think this is like an actual script somebody wrote where they're like, all right, this woman's the main character. If she gets criticized, it'll hurt her feelings. So we're gonna let her do stuff that any normal person would get criticized for. But you know, if she does it, it's all right. Games in today's industry are marketed to be addictive. That's why a lot of them are grind heavy. I don't know what the point of this is, but you know, let them have it. Hey, Akatsuki merchant, if you feel like testing out that power of yours, you can you can do it. You won't see any complaints from me on this one. I'm not going to pay them any attention. I'm not either. It's just I just don't understand the point of it. But it does go back to what I was saying earlier about like why bother, you know? You okay? Took your meds today? That could be a song. Hey, hey, Sasuke, you okay? Did you take your meds today? You know, it'd be so screwed up if I made what's it? There's another feature like on here. I'm trying to remember what it was, where it's like subscriber only mode. Or if I made everybody that shows up regularly a mod, and then anyone that was weird is like just snap. That'll be the next gag that we have. No, I remember with Melee they had Pichu in there, and I was like, why of all the Pokemon you could pick, why would you pick what is basically Pikachu Junior, like the less popular version? I don't know. It just seems like they just pick ones by random. Like at least with Charizard, you can make the case of like his popularity or its popularity, I should say. But I don't really know what the decision making process was for that. You have my vote for him to get Thanos snap. Well, I mean, hey, we'll see if what the next comment is. If it's also weird, we can just yeah. For some reason in Melee, they put a lot of clone characters. Yeah, I remember that was one of the criticisms of that game. And then it was like Brawl was supposed to rectify that, and then the game after that they brought them all back. The return of the clones. It just sucks because there's so many different Pokemon. It's like of all the ones you picked, that one didn't pick any of the starters because the trainer, right, the one that has Charizard and Squirtle doesn't show up until Brawl. It's like you didn't pick any of the starters, any of the legendaries other than Mewtwo, who's like very obvious. It just really seemed like a waste of a slot, you know? Yeah, I remember that. It was so weird. When I would play the games, the only time I would use Pichu ever was when I would go to, I think like if it was Hard Gold and Soul Silver, Viridian Forest, and get a Pikachu that has like catch a bunch of them. You get one with Light Ball, and then you can get one that has Volt Tackle. It's the only reason I ever use that thing. And even then, it doesn't even actually start getting used until it's already evolved, probably because I usually take one that's like level one and just have it getting experience points off of like battles with the stronger main ones I use. So I never use that thing, no matter where I am. This I just thought that was funny. Of all the ones you could pick, the clone characters. My favorite type. I mean, I don't know if I have a favorite type. I mean, I'd say I usually pick the grass starter, but I don't know if I would call grass my favorite type. Pichu hurts itself with any Pichu hurts herself with any electric type move you use. Her move set is very much the same as Pikachu, but she does damage. So I said, it's like, what's the point? Is that Pikachu on hard mode? What a bizarre game mechanic. Hey, let's put in one character that's like pretty good, and then we'll put in another one where you take damage as you use your attacks. There's an old X-Men game like that where like when Wolverine pulls his claws out, he loses health points. I think it's on the NES. It's like it was really weird. That reminds me of that where like you're encouraged to use like your weapon or your attack, but then you also lose health from using it or like do damage to yourself. Like who thought that was a good idea? Let me see. What about Oh, have I seen New Nexus before? I don't think I have. What about Digimon and Metabots? Thought we still my all-time favorite shows back when Fox Kids was good. I saw two of those of Digimon. I think maybe three. Um there's one where they turn into like I think they fuse or they turn into them. I don't know how to explain it, but I know that one of the like characters has like like a what do you call it? Like a red shirt with like I think it was orange inside or something. Again, I haven't seen any of that stuff since I was a kid, so I'm just going off my memory. Hey, Digimon is literally like Transformers. They just have all these reboots. That's why I keep most of Pikachu's moves physical and only use the electric. Sorry, burping. The electric type moves when they're super effective. I just think that's really insane. Like I haven't played Melee since I was a kid, but the more I think about that character, it's like, I'm really questioning what was going through the developers' heads. I guess it's the same thing with DVD, where like every time I play that game, I start. I don't even think. Yeah, I didn't play it yesterday. Every time I play that game, I always think about all the hackers and just how there's so many of them. And like they really let these people take over their game. Like they actually let individuals just like they'll get mad at you for what is it, face camping, tunneling, all these little different strategies people don't like. But then when someone hacks, like they don't get harassed and have nasty stuff written. It's just good old double standards. I think it's funny too because people like will so commonly call someone a bad player when they lose legitimately, but then if someone wins because they were hacking, nobody's like, "Oh man, you suck that hard at this game." Where did Envoy go? Oh man, he really. All right, well, I guess he's gone. Gonna have to sing a song in remembrance of him. Let me go grab my guitar. Pokemon only has like 4 attacks when you play the stadium on N64 and GameCube. What's the other game that was like that? It was on the Wii. I'm forgetting its name. Um, there's one on the GameCube called like XD or DX or something like that, where it has like a Lugia that like is colored weird. And then for the Wii, there's another game where like you could. I remember you could plug in the Generation 4 games and like use the ones you had on those, which I thought was the coolest thing ever. Like being able to use the ones I caught in the game in this other game, like bring them to the stadium. Yeah, got to limit yourself while playing as her, even when she isn't that good of a character. Anyway, poor Pichu. I could really picture. I remember with those like what was it, the ultimate move or the I forget what it's called, Final Smash, where if Sonic gets it, he turns supersonic and he just like can hit. Like it was the most broken thing I've ever seen. He just can hit whoever, just like knock into them and they fly up in there. That's a really good point, Justin. I noticed that during online multiplayer games, when some players cheat or mind the game. Oh, Stadium Revol. Yeah, no, I thought that was the coolest thing ever, being able to use the ones you had in the DS games and like put them in that. Man, I really miss my Wii. That thing was real fun to play. I had Budokai Tenkaichi 3. I had Smash Brothers. I had Coliseum. I had that. There's like a Mario game on there too that they made. Uh, it was fun. There are hardly any people who would criticize a cheater, but a legit player loses. They're often told he sucked. Yeah, they call you out your name. Damn, you got Tenkaichi. Yeah, I had the second and the third one. I literally got the second one only because I wanted to like play the parts in the game where you can like fly around, like fly to the locations. I thought that was so cool because again, this is back when the only type of like Dragon Ball RPG is Legacy of Goku. So getting like a 3D game on like a main console where you can just, I guess, sagas as well, but that I don't even care about that trash. Getting a 3D game where you can just that's on console where you can just like fly to wherever. I thought that was the most amazing thing ever. Tenkaichi 3 is still my favorite Dragon Ball game. Just it had so many characters and all these different stages, and I like being able to like have 5 people fight one character, and it has certain charm that a lot of the other stuff doesn't. Oh, we can talk about Sonic's Final Smash. Nobody never likes Sonic getting the Smash Ball. Yeah, I remember how broken that thing was because I would play as him just for that. Because back when the game was new, I like um not everybody that was into games that much or used the internet that often. So a lot of times they would only know what his final thing move was when they first saw somebody else playing it in front of them. And at that point, it was too late. Remember the one that Link had where it's like the Triforce and he like he cuts you up? Remember? When I played Sonic 3 for the Sega Genesis, I didn't know why it turned yellow and was glowing around that time. I remember that game. Remember the how they had like the overworlds where you had to run and like what did you do? It's like a bunch of blue balls that you have to turn red without touching a red one, and then if you do enough of those, you get the emerald. I thought that was really a really cool game mechanic. Just the idea that you're progressively awarded, the ability to go super. That's why a lot of the early Sonic games have this like timeless charm where they have like certain stuff that rewards the player if they play well. Like you can beat a lot of the bosses very very quickly if you maneuver in the right way, and it's just stuff you don't get from the 3D titles. And for the life of me, I don't understand why Sega can't just put the same like Sonic 4, tried, but it's like I don't know why they can't just put the same type of gameplay with either 2D graphics, which I'm completely fine with, or 3D. The only games that come close to being like really good, in my opinion, like the Genesis ones that are in like that same kind of side-scrolling thing, or it are the advanced games, and then the and Sonic Rush. I like some of the other ones too, but just like that same thing of going from one side of the screen to the other. That's something they should bring back. I feel like. Yeah, I like game mechanics like that because you're rewarded for playing when the game continuously progresses. I remember I used to have the what was that thing called, the Sonic Gem Collection, where it had like all these old games on it. That was before I had a computer and knew what emulators were. What are your views on the Sonic Adventure games? Well, you need to understand something. The first one came out in what was that, 2099? I was like a year old. And I remember there was this one, like I've literally only played the first one maybe twice ever. But the second one I beat. I played through the whole thing. I certainly take them over probably anything that came afterward. Like having it to where, you have like two or three characters that are in these levels where they have to run fast, and then you got one character that's just like in this mech suit thing that's just shooting around, and then somebody else that has to glide. I like that, the different play styles. And then they had these the option to like equip different stuff, like the where you could bounce. I remember that was one of the things that was available. So it was a fun game. I just know that there were maybe like two or three levels that made me want to like just give up because of how insane they were. But outside of that, I found enjoyable, and I would still go back and play most of it. So yeah, I don't really have an opinion on the first adventure because I've literally only played it like twice. I remember, like, I swear, one of my earliest memories of playing a game in a store is Sonic Adventure. Like there was a store I went to that had, where they have like the sample where you can play the game in the store. Like I played the first level, and you fight Chaos, and I like the whole map time I was just running from him. He was shooting at me because I didn't know what to do. Sonic games back then were huge, like Knuckles, Chaotix, and Tails Adventures for the Game Gear. What RPG games do you play? I enjoy Fallout very much. Man, you know the answer to that. The only RPG I played was Pokemon. Like outside of that, it's just whatever. Because I remember back when I was in like fourth, fifth grade, that's when Platinum came out, and I had like different classmates. We would like bring our DSs to school and after school play together. And I remember I would always win because what ends up happening with a lot of people, at least a lot of kids anyway, is that they like their starters so much that they just keep leveling up and only using the starter. So, and I did this when I was a kid playing Leaf Green, right? Like Venusaur level 75 and everybody's like level 20, whatever. So when you play against them, all you have to do is beat their starter and then the rest of their team just gets snowballed. Like I had this one guy, he had a Torterra, I had a Chimchar, and he beat my Chimchar. And then I had Staraptor and they, they beat him. And then the whole rest of the team just, oh my God. Platinum was a great rework for Diamond and Pearl. Yeah, the only problem I have with Diamond and Pearl is there are no fire types in that game. Like if you don't get Chimchar, you're just not going to have a fire type on your team unless you hack, which I admit I do when I play ROMs, like because I want to use the team I want, and I always use ones that are just usually not the like they don't give me an offset advantage, but it's just you have them from the start. Like I can't play through Kanto and Johto without having all the starters because I was so heavily influenced by the show. Ryumi says Sonic Heroes I say is a cool Sonic game as well after the adventure games. Yeah, that's the last one that has like the cast from Adventure. After that, they got rid of them and replaced them with the Sonic X voice actors. I remember the lady that did Rouge's voice in Adventure 2 and Heroes was like she was the voice director for I think the first Adventure. Like she actually had other job like another job outside of being the VA. So it was like how you just completely you took this like very useful person and just threw her to the side like with a bunch of douchebags. I always remember that like just like total dirt bags. Like she actually was one of the few VAs that had like a function outside of being a VA, and they got rid of her like that. Yeah, Heroes is probably my favorite game out of any of the ones after Adventure because it was I thought a unique concept where you have teams of three and they have all these different functions. The only thing I didn't like about that game was that I think the chaotix levels are really nuts, like having to kill however many enemies to advance. Um, and then also, I don't like that with the flying characters, you can't like have them just walk normal. They have to like have one person at top, one person at bottom. But outside of that, I liked it. It was, I think it was the first Sonic game I had on the console. That's, I guess maybe that's part of the sentimental stuff. But I enjoyed it. Mm. Gen 4 is a great generation. Really enjoyed playing Diamond. Yeah, I'd say my favorite gen is probably two, which actually is like the last one they did before I started playing them. So yeah, because two has most of the ones I really like in it. Two just feels like a direct sequel to one because it's like Kanto and Johto are connected to each other, and then the other generations are like I remember people called Ruby and Sapphire a soft reboot because you couldn't like it wasn't backward compatible with Gen 2, and then like most of the Gen 1 um, Pokemon like weren't even like most of the ones from Gen 1 and 2 you couldn't even get in Ruby and Sapphire anyway. I remember before Heart Gold and Soul Silver came out, it was just insane trying to get the Johto stars because the only way you could get them back when it was Diamond, Pearl, Platinum, and then the Gen 3 games was to get every single Hoenn Pokemon in Emerald and like complete the Pokedex, right? For Emerald. And then you can get one of the three, and then you have to restart the game to do that all over again until you get all three. That was really insane for a whole I don't know what the duration of time for like a whole 5, 6, 7 years. You just weren't using the Johto starters, and those are probably they're like I wave back and forth, but they're easily either my second favorite starters or like just barely under Gen 1. So that was horrible because I remember I used to play Gold and Silver, the ROM, just on my computer. I was like, well, maybe these will get remade one day. Who knows? Yeah, the grind on those games is insane. It's like you trying to get a whole chapter of Mortal Kombat and Final Fantasy games. I'm just saying, I remember the struggle to like. I love the Johto starters. That's why it sucked that it was that hard to get them. They took some of what are supposed to be the easiest Pokemon to get in like the whole series and made them impossible to get damn near for like 3, 4 years, I think. Only time I got to use them was in ROM hacks. Nah, the hell with that. Yeah, I do like really like Gen 4. I don't like it as much as the first three. Although I will say visually it's the best looking. But I mean that's par for the course. I remember when people thought Gen 4 was the end because of Arceus, they were like, how do you go further than the Pokemon God? And then, they went further. Oh no, I might do a playthrough of gold one of these days. I don't want it to be a stream again because like it might like to sit there for like 2 hours with that game might kind of tiring. I don't know, just from like having to grind on screen, just like me talking as I run across a patch of grass. I never really played Gen 2 apart from the remakes Heart Gold and Soul Silver. I those are probably tied with Yellow as my favorite game in the whole series or games in the whole series, but they do have some things that I have a problem with, like they I think they hold your hand a little too much. Like I remember at the start of the game, you don't like you have the mother who like asks you, do you know how to use this thing, and you say no, and then she still tells you anyway. So I think they're great games. They just like for me, I still find the original ones more preferable because they don't have the same and it was like a really big thing when they first had the day and night mechanic. Then again, I actually started from Gen 5. Oh, I remember Gen 5. My mom bought me Black and White together, like as a reward for being good at school, and all weekend I was playing them. I remember Gen 5 really felt like a reboot because they had what was it, 156 new ones, and you didn't encounter any old ones until after the game was over. And then they had Black 2 and White 2. I was like, what the remember when people uh they were talking about it was racist for the games to be called White and Black, even though it's literally yin and yang, which has been around, forever. It was you can look at every generation after the first one and you'll find somebody like complaining about like I remember Gen 3, oh my god, it's the reboot. We can't use the older ones anymore. I think out of any of the generations post Gen 2, Gen 4 is probably the most well liked. Damn, Heart Gold and Soul Silver might actually be like in my top 10 favorite games ever. Like that's I remember playing those over and over. I remember getting Chikorita just to make the game even more difficult. Because I remember I had two DSs and I would trade the starters. Like you start a new game, you get the starter, you trade it to the other game, like to get all of them. I remember having fighting red with like, where it was like Charizard versus Typhlosion, so it's fighting fire with fire. Yeah, sad that a lot of young generations never get to experience all the great games we used to play when we were kids. They will regret it. That's how I felt about Gold and Silver. Like I had when how to explain this? I remember because those came out in like what was that 2010, 2009, one of those 2 years, and then Leaf Green came out when I was in like kindergarten. Yeah, it was like 2004. So I remember like the 4-year period where Gen 2 was like lost. Like the only way you could play it was on a ROM or if you had, the Game Boy Color. And that was the only way I played, just on my computer. And then when the remake was announced, like, yay. Oh dear, I sure remember most of the criticisms against Gen 5. Yeah, it's funny that like everything people said about Gen 3 literally happened with Gen 5. Like if any generation was a reboot, it was definitely Gen 5. Because I remember they said the story for Kanto and Hoenn, so that like Ruby and Sapphire take place around the same time as Red and Blue, or Fire Red and Leaf Green. Um, and then Gold and Silver and Diamond and Pearl are like congruent with each other, like they're both happening at the same time as well. So with the Gen 5 story, it was like I don't know where this fits. I was one of the people who hate Legend of Black and White, but after they released Black, I gave it a chance. It wasn't that bad. I didn't have any issue with it. I thought it tried to do something different. Like I like having a game where you can beat it without beating the league. Because I remember when I would go against the league, I would have like 90 hyper potions, 60 revives. Everybody's like, I always have at least one fully evolved Pokemon that's like the same level as the champions one, so we can be on like even footing. I remember Lance is probably the worst out of all the champions. He's probably the most frustrating one for me because all like the team I usually use has no counters for dragons, so it was just Pikachu zapping like 3 Dragonite. Oh, by the way, you won't believe this, but I actually did one time beat the whole league, like beat the entire Elite Four with just one Pokemon. And I do have proof of that, like on a ROM. Like I have proof of me winning the getting it was at the Hall of Fame with just one. Like one beat the like everybody out of those 5 trainers. And it wasn't a legendary, by the way. I'll say that as well. My brother couldn't believe it. He was like, no way. You know Croconaw, right? Totodile second form. Because with the dragons, you can freeze them with the ice, and then with the water, like water's good against pretty much anything. No, he had 3. Okay, and I'm talking about Heart Gold and Soul Silver. He has 3 Dragonites. But if you want to laugh at somebody for having like a under, what do you call it? No, not at all. I would never flex on this damn game. When you play it for so long and you do stuff like that, you're not even surprised anymore. No, Gen 2, I remember for was it Faulkner? He has like a level 9 Pidgeotto. Damn, every Saturday we get interrupted. Well, again, this is at least this has been allowed to go little bit longer than the one from last you know, week. Because I wanted to do the full 2 hours, but it doesn't look like we'll be able to because I have some people that are coming over. So make sure you get your thoughts out very quickly. How's the theme song for GT go? Time is running out. GT. That's what this is. Yeah, he had 3, but what I meant was Dragonite doesn't evolve until level 55. He had Dragonites that were in the week. Oh, yeah. I'm just saying that he, out of any champion from any generation, he's indisputably the one I have the hardest time going against. Because if I ever do a playthrough of Heart Gold or Soul Silver, the team I have will go as follows: Pikachu, Charizard, Bulbasaur, Squirtle, Bayleaf, and then maybe Cyndaquil or something else. And then like no one on that team is able to really do stuff like super effective against dragon types. I really like the theme song. I mean, I already said the things I like about that show. So whatever. I don't have to keep reestablishing the positives. Yeah, he had. Okay, I already read that. No, Megumi, I couldn't believe it. Like I just did that run at like I had plenty of games where I just go and challenge the Elite Four just like as a joke, like not actually serious. And I just kept getting further, and I was like, "What is this? Am I really about to beat that?" Like all of them with just Crocodile, because I'm not even really that big a fan of Totodile. Like out of the first six starters, he's my least favorite in dispute. Like I still like him, but I just love Squirtle. Like Squirtle is one of my top six favorite Pokemon. So he gets like the shaft because I just love Squirtle. I don't know why the Dragon Ball fan base hates on GT so much. Listen, if you're part of any fan base of a franchise that's been going for several years or decades, there's always going to be some new installment or some segment that don't like a part of it. I mean, hell, you have a lot of DB fans who don't even watch the original Dragon Ball, which I think is insane. But that's just how fans are. They're very selective. I just hate when they had to collect and make a very long episode. Oh man, don't turn this into a GT discussion. I really don't want to start that again because then it's gonna like turn into everybody versus Megumi, and I'm gonna try to like meet them halfway, and I'm good. Please go back to the topic at hand. It's always a good feeling to do a league sweep for the first time. With I had never done that before in the entire history of me playing that game. I've won with like let's say four, five, but one that was insane. No, I don't ever want to even imagine doing that again. But I would be interested in a hard gold playthrough. I just have to find a way because the problem is I can record my screen, but it doesn't record sound. Um, like on my phone, it can record sound, but when I do a play something and I try to record it, it won't get the sound, which annoys me. Irritating. And then you have to play it sped up because I remember the Gen 4 games are really slow. He got rid of his own message. He's like, I'm not going to post this. And not even a legendary either. Takes skill to pull that off for sure. Well, water is just a really good type, like in the grand scheme of the different types they've introduced. Because most of the I guess NPCs, if you want to call them that, don't use electric types, so you don't really have much to worry about if you just have a water type that you use. You know, and a lot of times they can learn ice moves, dark moves, just different stuff. I remember there was a one like for one of the Elite Four members, I took out their whole team with someone. I'm trying to remember who it was. Yeah, water type is always good. It's the most popular type I use. Just I don't mean to like let me finish reading this. I usually at times think it gets a bit too much love, too many Pokemon are water. I wish we had more bug types or cool bug types. But I was gonna say, what's really interesting about the show is that it looked like before Ash went to Hoenn that he was like really into water types. Like that was the because it's established that he wanted Squirtle. That was the one he was going to pick before it was later revealed to be Gary that took it. And then he also like when he has Lapras while he's in the Orange Islands. That's like the first time he has two of the same type just on his team all throughout. Like it's really not until you get to Johto that they start establishing him just like having a preference or like an association with grass types. Because he has Bulbasaur and Chikorita, and then later Bayleaf on his team together for like 100 episodes or something. Like it's just two grass types throughout most of Johto. My favorite type is rock types because they can ease. Man, the only time I've ever, well, yeah, but people don't have teams of flying types usually. The only time I've ever used a rock type, like as part of my main crew, is when I was playing Johto. When I was playing, it was either Heart Gold or Soul Silver, and I had a Geodude that I evolved to, Graveler, and I think I don't know if I did Golem because it was on. I don't know if I traded, but that's the only time I've ever used a rock type as part of my main team. Like only one time ever. Has anyone seen Pokemon on Fox Kids or Cartoon Network around the time? Yeah, I used to watch the show. That's that's why I brought it up. I remember it used to be on Kids WB until what was that, season 8 or 9, when the license from 4 Kids ran out and they got those new horrible voice actors. I respect that not too many people talk about rock types. I feel like they're underrated. Well, of course, the first gym that everybody sweeps if they played the first game is rock. It's the same thing with Diamond and Pearl and with Ruby and Sapphire. Like rock types are associated with, oh, you pick the grass or water type or fire type that has like fighting type moves as your starter. Here's the gym to sweep. I really like ghost types. I always wanted Gengar, but I just could never get one because I didn't have anyone to trade with, and usually I didn't use Ghastly enough to even evolve it in the Haunter, and just it never really worked out. I know you love your Ghost types. I always wanted to make a Ghost type Eevee, but we never got that for some reason. I want a Ghost type Eevee, a Rock type, and they keep on putting it off. But now we have Fairy types, Mega Evolution, Giant Max. The only Mega Evolution that looked really cool is the one for Charizard from, what was that? Y, I think, where he turns like black with the like blue belly. It's the only one. Also, Charmander's the only one of the Kanto starters I ever evolved because I'm again obsessed with the show, so I have to like follow everything they had in there. What was I gonna say? Yeah, Rock type shut down most elemental types except for water, ice, and grass. Oh yeah, they do damage to electric types. I remember seeing the Gen 6 trailer X and I was so shocked when I saw Mega Charge and Mega Mewtwo at first and like it grew on me. I mean, again, I'm always going to give them credit if they do something different. Um, because I mean, people like criticize the series as being repetitive. Because apparently, if you do the same thing multiple times, it's automatically bad. So I don't get upset when they do like the Tiki challenge or any of that. It's or Mega Evolution. I encourage it. You won't see me get upset at them doing something different. Just like if they want to do a new generation where they use like where you can just pick any starter from the previous gens, I'd be completely content with that. If they want to make any more new Pokemon, I'd be totally fine with that as well. We don't always need new ones. Problem I have with rock types is has too many weaknesses. Yep. Again, I just don't use them because I don't really have a rock type what's the way of saying it? There's like no region where they really stick out. Like if I'm in Kanto, I'm probably like if what's a good way of saying it? I just know when I play a game, depending on what region it's in, that I know I'm probably not going to use a rock type because there's like I already have an idea of what team I'm going to eventually have. I like to battle the little Pokemon like Oddish and Caterpie. I remember I used to always catch Caterpie and then like try to keep Butterfree around, and then it was like, oh, this kind of it like when I play yellow, uh, I catch one because I know it can turn into Butterfree and then I'll have confusion. It's like the only reason I'm even able to beat Brock. So because I don't feel like getting the Mankey. Damn, I still can't believe you. I remember I had a friend who had yellow and would like bring it to school and I was like, what is this? Okay, guys, we're gonna have to end the stream. Yeah, I caught a shiny. Well, I didn't catch it. I got a. I kept resetting heart gold to get a shiny Chikorita. It was like gold and like yellow or whatever. It's like it has like a gold leaf and it's like a yellowish body. So yeah. But look, I gotta go because this person is here. I will speak to you either on definitely on Monday, but then like it's I'll put up the video tomorrow. So I tried to be here a little bit longer than usual than what we had last week. I hope you enjoyed it. Have a good rest of your Saturday. Thanks.